Welcome to this next episode of Deep Dive. Now, on this episode of Stillriver Deep Dive, I have a special guest. Now, this guest has done a number of things over the years, and I'm excited for you to experience what she brings to the table. And her name is Allison Higgins. She is the CTO of Kolor Koded Enterprises, and she's been the CTO for over 5 years. And she's worked with companies like Workday and CNN and Cisco. Now, with that being said, I will bring to the stage Allison Higgins. Welcome, Allison.
Hi. Hello. I'm giggling. I have never gotten used to people like introducing me or like talking about me. So I still find it fascinating and try not to like let it get to my head. So
No,
thank you for that.
no, you've done some great things. Like, but so tell people who are listening, like, tell more people about you.
How many levels do we want to
Okay,
go?
so talk about Allison. All right, tell us your career journey. Like, this is a podcast about deep diving into AI and things of that nature. But just describe your journey.
Okay, so I started as a college student at 16 years old at Clayton State University here in Atlanta, Georgia. I was dual enrolled for the last 2 years of high school, so I was a full time college student while completing my high school credits. And in the course of that, the first 2 years are about like figuring out what you want to do versus what you thought you were going to do. And I was convinced that I was going to do business or law or political science or something of that sort. Computer science did not become a possibility, at least in my eyes, until I did this program called International Hour of Code. And at the time, they had a bunch of celebrities and commercials on TV. And so it was literally trying to get people from all walks of life, regardless of skill set, try coding. And they did it with a fun, interactive game. And so I literally stayed up one night from like 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. trying to move my zombie around a maze. My mom was literally getting up and getting ready for work when I finished. And I just felt like, wow, this is so cool. What do you call the people that do this? How can I do this? And fortunately, at that time, I was literally getting ready to complete high school and about to like officially graduate, but also finishing my first two general ed years and getting ready to go into a major. So I met with the computer science people at Clayton State and I was telling them, it's like, yeah, I did this program and it was so cool. And this is what I think I want to do. And of course, I wouldn't say of course, but I was told, well, one, you're going to be one of extremely few women. And two, as you move up, you're probably going to be one of extremely few people that look like you. And three, you need to get your math skills together. So I had literally just watched Legally Blonde like 2 weeks before for the first time ever. And that became part of my inspiration. So literally, I was in my advisor's office like, what? Is that supposed to be hard or something?
So, like this, I'd be like, this is very intriguing. Like, what would you impart on people, on women, right? Because I know we need to make sure that we keep promoting and getting women together, and especially in technology. Like, people who look like you and women, like, what would be that thing that you would share with them?
Okay. Surface level money. Literally the career security available to people with technical skills has become more apparent in the past few years. And although it may not feel as apparent now because of the hiring crises, trust me, having a computer science degree has opened a lot more doors versus if I was solely boot camp trained. Now, this is not saying that the boot camp trainings don't matter. They do. Those certifications matter. I tell everybody, get your piece of paper, get your proof that you know what you know, because that cannot, even if they say, oh, we're going to take it away or that doesn't count, you still have that. And while it may not be relevant in one particular context, it could be relevant in a lot of others. So, yes, for the paper, for the money, definitely get your piece of paper, get your degree, get your certification. From a social standpoint, I would say the future is not actively imagined by people like us, at least not in the broad, grand sense that we see in movies and in TV shows. There's a reason for that. And once you finally find those reasons, you'll realize that a lot of them are not worth holding weight in the real world.
So in the age of AI as tools,
Mhm.
how can people leverage, like, because everyone has an idea these days, like what would you advise people who just want to get started, like just to start, like where would they go?
Start with whatever tool you are most comfortable with. Gemini, GPT, Claude, start there. When you're there, start building or kind of brainstorming what it is you're trying to do. Get a concrete idea of what it is you're trying to do. And once you have that concrete idea, ask for suggestions on how to do it. From there, you can start building your design documents. You can start maybe getting some code samples that can help you get started. If you're using a tool like Claude and you have it connected to like a GitHub or something like that, you can literally start scaffolding your project directly with Claude. And basically, you'll have the repo and your code being added as you're making updates.
So, all right. So I think you're hitting on something that's very important. That people are just beginning to talk about. Well, I wouldn't say you're just beginning, but like we're starting to talk about it. Like junior developers, right? You kind of hinting at, hey, if you go to a boot camp, you oftentimes like you're a junior developer. Now with these models like Claude and Gemini being more efficient, and people saying, hey, these models are more like junior developers or entry level engineers. How do you combat that? Like what do you say to that? Like how do you introduce people into the industry with that feeling?
Okay, well, first thing I would say, AI is not a replacement for a software engineer, a trained software engineer. Notice how I didn't say educated. Notice how I didn't say degreed. A trained software engineer cannot be replaced by these tools. They make our jobs a little easier because we understand the underlying concepts. But what these tools allow for you to do is to build without understanding the underlying concepts. My advice to juniors would be to prove your mastery of those underlying concepts. They will always be there. I'm talking data structures. I'm talking algorithms. I'm talking the interview prep things that they tell you. Those are great portfolio builders. Keep that knowledge and learn how to display it the best way you can. If it's technical speaking, start doing presentations. If it's blog posts, start writing. If it's formats like this, start recording. But the bottom line is start showing that you know what you know without it having to be in an interview, because that will get you the interviews. The portfolios, the websites, the blogs, those will get you on the radar and get you in front of the people you're trying to meet.
Okay, all right. So that is, I think that's brilliant advice, especially for like new engineers. Now, people like me, right, who've been doing this for quite some time, who just want to learn about it. Like, how can it make me more efficient? Like, where do they start? How do they begin?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go from two perspectives here. One is, say you're seeing this at work and you're being like kind of pushed into it by like management and stuff. I would say first, don't resist. I know it feels like you're training your replacement, but you may just be training your replacement in that assignment. The skills that you develop in training that replacement are going to make you irreplaceable. Learn the tools, do the tutorials, watch the videos. If they have build alongs or anything like that you can do those and take advantage of the resources available to you as a corporate employee to do so. For those who are not in corporate, I would suggest start with the free tiers of everything. Whatever tool, start with the free tier and start with the documentation. Learn how to build with it. Learn how to develop better prompts. There are a lot of resources online that are available for no or little cost. Start using those resources and start building.
Now, I've listened to you talk like publicly. I've seen you do public speaking, and like you've been talking about this type sort of thing for years, like in regards to AI and like what what are some cool, what is something that you can like kind of show our the people who are looking, like how do you
Okay.
actually apply the tool?
Okay, so I would like to share my food resources application. Let me just set up Chrome tab. There we go. Share. Okay. So remember back in October, November, when everything was going on with the SNAP benefits possibly not getting out to recipients, right?
Yes.
I knew personally people that would be impacted by that, and I was terrified. But also, I wanted to figure out how to help them. I didn't have a ton of money. I didn't have access to a lot of resources. But what I noticed with the articles that were coming out about this story, they would include information about pantries and ministries and places that people can go for help. So, what really started it was my friend Nicole. She posted on LinkedIn about basically one of these pantries or information about it. But I noticed that the information was kind of old, like it was dated to 2020. And so I was sure, well, this might kind of be at least a little out of date. So, okay, need an updated version of this. And then another friend in the comments, Jay, said, "Hey, Nicole, why don't you vibe code an app with up to date information like this?" What Michael Jordan said in that thing, I took that personally. And from there, I started trying to do it. So first, I gathered the resources, like I mentioned, from the news articles, from what was available. Also, did some extra research on my own to find some other resources. And then I took that list to my cloud assistant and I started prototyping. I asked, display this information and I want to be able to sort it by city, county, zip code, and maybe name.
So you
Eh,
use so the tool you use Claude Code,
mhm. Yes.
and I'm assuming this is a React app.
Yes, this is a React app.
Okay.
React was just the framework that I'm most familiar with, but you can do this with any framework using Claude, as far as I know. And so I put in my framework requirements along with what I was trying to do, display this information in as simple of a format as possible. And I got my first initial draft. It did not look like this. It did not look like this at all. I had to go back and do some more prototyping with Claude. Um, then incorporating my own like business colors and brand colors and things like that. But what really I would want to highlight or like to highlight is that this was not just created by me. Well, okay, this was not just built by me. A group of other engineers helped me build this. I decided to make it open source because I knew that all of the ideas that I had for this application, I would not be able to complete by myself, or at least in enough time to get it into the hands of the people that would really need it.
So
So
are the other engineers using AI assistants as well?
as far as I can tell, some are, yes. But what they've been able to do is take this base that I've created and expand it even further. So focusing on things like the map view. This was not available when we first published.
Nice.
I had no idea. Well, I did have an idea of how to do it, but all of the ideas that I had required subscriptions and paid plans. When I published the application and got it out to the people that I felt would like need it, I also put out a call to other engineers asking for their contributions. Somebody stepped up, and now we have a map view.
That is community in action right there. I love that.
Yes. And that was another really big part of me wanting to get it out as well, to not just the community, but to other developers too. Mm-hmm. We don't need a giant corporate entity to collaborate and work together, especially to help our communities.
100%. Like, you have an idea, you can action on it, right? If you find one like-minded person, even if you don't find a like-minded person, you can start.
Yes, you can literally start with a ChatGPT conversation. I want to build XYZ. This is what I want it to look like. Here's an example of what I want. ChatGPT will take that and start suggesting code. If you state any requirements about that, they'll start suggesting tools if you ask for that. And sometimes you have to explicitly state that in your chat, basically.
So let me ask you something, Allison. So like folks are familiar with ChatGPT, but what about like some of the vibe coding tools like Lovable and Replit?
Okay,
would you start there? Where would you go?
You could start with Replit and you could start with Lovable as well. The thing, remember what I said earlier about these tools not fully being able to replace an engineer? I would highly recommend you find an engineer that you can work with on it, because if something goes wrong, at least you will have the backup support to debug it yourself.
Nice. I mean, that is something that like I'm seeing as well, right? Like people can vibe code pretty easily, but then how do you harden it? How do you operationalize something, right? How do you connect to a database, for instance?
Yes. And while these tools can give the suggestions for that, like as far as like the stat, the APIs, and whatever, not having that central, like, I guess at least one person or two people that can like kind of give you some guidance on it, you're not going to know what you're doing. I'm sorry. You're just not going to know what you're doing.
So with that, now, so can you tell more people more about what Color Coded Studios is providing?
Okay. So now I get to share my other blessing. So Color Coded Studios started as literally people finding out I'm an engineer or I was a computer science major and asking me, hey, can you build me a website? Can you build me an app? Can you build me this? I mean, I eventually, luckily, fortunately, and shout out to Erica Stanley for helping me to realize this, I could. And it might not have been perfect, or it might not have been like Google or whoever's level of quality, but for what that person may need or want, it might be perfect. And so I met my first client literally at a Women Who Code Atlanta event. And she worked in, I think, aesthetics. So like lashes and like facials and all of that. And she wanted a site. She had her content, she had her photos, she had everything she needed, but she didn't have anyone to put it together. And so I helped her put it together. And that was like the first, like, wow, I can get paid to do this now.
Yes, you can.
That literally turbocharged my studying, my attendance in office hours, lectures. Once I realized that and it actually happened, oh my God, I'm like, yes, I'm all in. What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? How can I do it faster? And
So,
so, yes.
so
Uh,
what services do you provide with Color Coded?
okay, so I am technically a full stack software developer, front end, back end, but and I also build AI integrations and do AI assisted development too. So Color Coded, we offer these AI integrations. We also offer like business and branding consulting as far as what your digital services may be or what you may need for your business versus what you think you may need. A lot of people think I need an app. No, you don't. You need a splash page. And but if you do need an app, it can be built. We can build it. Sometimes people just literally want to ask me stuff about AI or just technical questions related to their business. We offer that too, technical consulting. And even that splash page I mentioned, we can build that, create it, maintain it, whatever you need. If you need a storefront, do that too. So basically, I'm trying to meet the engineers in my community where they are and help bridge the services, or rather bridge the gap that they may have with digital services. And we primarily focused on women and minorities, at least in our first couple of years, just because that was the community that I primarily served. But we work with all kinds of budgets, work with all kinds of clients. If you are curious, please, we have our contact form here at the bottom. Just visit, leave a message. I guarantee it will be seen and it will be responded to.
So where can folks meet you? Right? Are there where you are on the socials and things of that nature?
So my LinkedIn is also on the site as well if you visit, but here is my LinkedIn as well. I'm definitely open to a message, or if anyone just wants to just drop a line and start a conversation, we can start there.
Nice. Oh my gosh, Allison, you have been a pleasure today. Like my goal is really to expose all the engineers that I'm aware of, right? That I know that I see in my space, right? Because it's some talented individuals out there, right? So
Very, extremely.
yeah, and people want to know where to start, where to go, and this is what this represents, right? Hey, we can be a gateway for you, our listeners, to continue to like understand and meet people, right? Reach out to Allison. And I'm gonna say this: she can make shit happen, like real talk. So
And I
so
do. I'm sorry, I do, but I do, like, literally. And honestly, that's what, if I had to like sum up, I guess, a mission of what I do and why I do it, that is literally the impetus. We can build the future that we want. We have the tools, we have the knowledge. If you don't, it's very easy to go find and access. Do that. Actually do it and see how far you can get. When you're ready for outside help, go get that outside help. There are meetups, there are networking events. There is plenty of tech stuff here in Atlanta, especially where you can find like minded people. Now, I'm not saying go with your pitch deck in hand per se, but at least being willing to network and make connections, because you just never know who might be that person to help take your business from A to Z.
the key
So,
the key is taking a step, taking action, move.
yes.
It's one thing to think about it. It's another thing to actually take action. Like oftentimes we get stuck in thinking, but you actually got to make something. You got to move, right? That's how you
And
get.
as a person who also suffers from that, literally the first thing I do is write it down.
Yes.
Even if it's a piece of paper, even if I got to sit in front of a notepad plus plus screen for several hours, I write it down.
Not the
Because that's,
notepad plus plus.
yes, I don't like a lot of distractions when I work. So when I'm really trying to get into that zone, yes, it will literally be me and notepad plus plus going line by line. This is what I'm trying to do. This is how I envision it. This is how I think I might want to get there.
Oh my
And
gosh. And you know what's so profound about that? I know but what's profound about that in the age of AI, writing it down is like gold.
that's literally, you taught me that. You literally taught me that.
Yeah.
And when it clicked, I was like, no, no, it is not. No.
Yes.
Trust me, I was struggling for so long before that learning encounter, because it just seemed so impossible. It's like AI, and you have to know the large language models, and you have to specifically know how to tune your presets. And I mean, I was willing to go learn how to do that, yes, but I also, being completely realistic, was like, okay, I got to balance this with work, I got to balance this with life, you know. But that learning experience was, who, I think I wrote about it in my article. I felt like the people when they first discovered fire. Literally, that's how I was talking about it. I'm like, y'all have to learn this. Y'all have to do this. Literally, because yes, thank you for the illumination.
And that's my goal, right? Is to illuminate, right? Just continue to share. That's why I do this. So with that being said, Allison, it's been a complete pleasure. I thank you so much. I would love for you to come back again, continue to update people on where you're going. and continue to create. Like you're pretty dope. So
Thank you so much.
and
Thank
with
you.
and with that being said, please like, follow, subscribe, share this channel. We're going to continue to bring up topics and talk about new things and what's going on. And with that being said, I'm AD Slayton. I will see you next week.